A new direction for Battlefield. Following the massive flop of Battlefield 2042, Electronic Arts made the pivotal decision to completely overhaul the franchise's direction. Their ambitious goal is to create a new installment that seamlessly blends classic gameplay with innovative modern features. The publisher has united its top internal studios to bring Battlefield 6 to life, promising to be the future of the series. While the full release is still a couple of months away, players are already getting a taste of the game, and the hype is immense. Streams and advertisements are everywhere, and the closed beta is already breaking online player count records. This material will dive into what EA has ultimately delivered. The closed beta features several modes, including the classic Conquest, where teams capture and hold points, and a smaller infantry-only version called Domination. There's also Breakthrough, a large-scale mode pitting an attacking side against a defending one. For players who feel restricted by class limitations, a variant of Conquest with a limited arsenal is available, featuring only class-specific weapons, while otherwise remaining identical to the base mode. On the second day of the beta, a new mode called King of the Hill was added, where small teams compete to capture positions and score points to win. Maps and scale. Large-scale modes like Conquest and Breakthrough are played on bigger maps, designed for up to 48 players and lasting 20 to 40 minutes. These maps offer a wealth of tactical opportunities, from sniper positions to vehicles for rapid movement and enemy suppression, creating a perfect canvas for epic moments. This is the quintessential Battlefield experience, a throng of infantry advancing under vehicle cover, explosions and chaos everywhere, and a teammate pulling you to safety from enemy fire. The more compact modes, such as Domination and King of the Hill, are 16-player battles on smaller locations. These are actually cut out sections of the standard maps, so playing them will help you learn the layout of a few key areas. These modes are ideal for players who prefer fast-paced, dynamic close-quarters combat that demands constant movement rather than simply holding a single position. Currently, there are only a few maps available in the beta, with a couple of variations for each mode. You might find yourself in the sunny siege of Cairo, with its Middle Eastern architecture, courtyards, and houses. The overcast Iberian offensive on a seaside location with multi-story buildings and varied street levels, or the snowy Liberation Peak with its villages and military bases. Only Liberation Peak is truly large-scale, with the others offering more contained urban combat and scripted building collapses. There is no option to choose a map, which often leads to playing the same one repeatedly. The full game is promised to have a wider selection, with the Battlefield 6 website listing 9 maps, including urban and industrial zones. Class system and performance. The class system has long been a hot topic among Battlefield fans. While veterans long for the old days of strict class roles and team cohesion, newer players prefer not to be constrained. In Battlefield 6, the developers have attempted to satisfy both sides with a new system. Players can choose from 4 classes: Assault, Engineer, Medic, and Recon. Each class has 3 unique gadgets, a passive buff, and a special ability that charges during combat. For example, the Recon can deploy a spawn beacon and motion sensor, use C4 explosives, and call in a UAV to spot enemies. The Medic has a stationary shield that can be destroyed piece by piece, a defibrillator for instant revives, and can become a mobile supply station. The Engineer gets the iconic blowtorch for repairing vehicles, an RPG or manpads, and an anti-vehicle mine. The Assault class can use enemy spotting abilities, an adrenaline boost, a grenade launcher, and various grenade types. To avoid forcing players to use specific weapons, any class can use any available gun, except in a specific Conquest mode variant. However, each class has a weapon specialization that offers bonuses. For instance, the Medic doesn't suffer a speed penalty when equipped with heavy machine guns, while the Assault can aim and reload faster with assault rifles. Weapons can also be further customized with grips, sights, barrels, and other attachments. The beta offers a decent variety, with 2 to 3 weapon types in almost every category. The game is well optimized and stable, a clear sign that EA has learned from the disastrous launch of Battlefield 2042. During the beta's initial rush, long queues were a concern, but it turned out EA was deliberately staggering player entry to prevent server overload. After waiting 15 to 20 minutes, I was able to join and subsequent logins were much faster. There were no major issues with server access except for the occasional infinite loading screen after a match, which a quick restart fixed. The game runs smoothly even during intense action with massive destruction. I encountered a few minor graphical glitches like stretched textures or a body briefly clipping through the ground, but no serious technical problems. While the experience may differ for players with weaker PCs, the developers of Battlefield 6 have clearly worked hard to ensure that bugs and frame drops don't detract from the fun. Gameplay and final impressions. Battlefield 6 is a surprisingly solid shooter. Rushing across maps, destroying buildings and opponents is both dynamic and fun. The chaos increases in a team setting, but you can definitely have a good time playing solo. While the new class system doesn't enforce strict teamwork, it can still influence the outcome of a battle. For those playing with randoms, a voice chat and ping system are available to help with communication. The movement system, which includes parkour, adds to the dynamism and is something you quickly get used to. The controversial sliding mechanic, which worried some fans about the game becoming too Call of Duty-like, fits in well and doesn't turn the game into a trick-jumping festival, as it applies a penalty when changing stances. The game is designed so that you always know your objectives after respawning. You won't be out of the fight for long, as there's always an option to quickly respawn and get back into the action. On some maps, this is even more effective than waiting for a teammate to revive you. The spawn locations are fair, and I never found myself spawning directly next to an enemy. Getting to the action is quick and easy with the parkour system, making it difficult to just sit in one spot. While the maps feel a bit contained, there are still vehicles for enthusiasts. These include tanks, IFVs, light vehicles, and the ever-popular helicopters and jets. There are already complaints online about the poor controls for flying vehicles, and it's unclear if the developers will address this before launch. Vehicle gameplay is also somewhat limited. Only 2 people can actively use weapons, with other passengers just along for the ride or hanging on the outside. In urban areas, vehicles can change the landscape and the flow of battle, but there's often not enough space to maneuver. Despite the fast-paced gameplay, good optimization, and the franchise's signature destruction, Battlefield 6 doesn't yet feel like a premium $70 shooter. The developers may be following the industry standard for pricing and building a budget for the future, but the game will still have separate monetization after release to extract more money from players. The argument that development is getting more expensive isn't a strong incentive to buy, even if it's understandable that EA needs to recoup its losses from Battlefield 2042 and show off a success to investors. Lingering doubts. Good graphics are no longer a novelty, and they aren't particularly impressive in the heat of battle. And in 2025, good optimization and a low number of bugs should be the bare minimum for any game, especially a multiplayer one. Gamers have become so used to paying for early access that a title that works stably at launch is now seen as a miracle. Additionally, cheaters have already found a way into the beta, so it remains to be seen how big of an issue this will be at launch. The less rigid class system may alienate veterans, and the difference between units is only noticeable among allies. In more heroic shooters, like the free-to-play Delta Force for example, you can identify a medic to deprive the enemy team of support or spot a recon running to a sniping position. While there are a variety of weapons, some models require incredible skill or significant upgrades to be more effective than the standard M4A1. Vehicle gameplay is also underwhelming. The beta maps are too small for large-scale vehicle combat. The vehicle variety is limited, and you barely need a full crew, aside from a pocket engineer. Even vehicle-on-vehicle combat isn't particularly spectacular. Again, Delta Force handles this aspect more interestingly. The maps are well designed, but lack variety, with only the position of the points changing for now. All of this may change with the full release. The developers have promised new maps, variations for the beta maps, and a promising portal mode with custom servers. The creators of Battlefield 6 are also teasing seasonal and themed events, the return of classic maps, environmental modifications, realistic skins, and much more. There will even be a story campaign, but all of that is for the future. How long will the game last? How quickly and deeply will it become plagued by cheaters? You can try Battlefield 6 for yourself and decide if it's worth the investment starting August 9th when the first open beta for everyone begins. Latecomers will get another chance from August 14th and 17th.